6.8. You must be kidding me. So, why that's a joke? Because as you can see on Metacritic, the game has an 85, which is a considerable difference from a 68 if we do a scale of 100, if we just bump up the scores. A 68 to an 85 is a huge difference. So why does Metacritic have such a different score when there are no user reviews here? So look at the critic reviews. 63 positive, 11 mixed, and 1 negative. Let's go into some of these. Obviously, we'll do the first one, Digital Chumps. Death Stranding reinvents how video game designs can work. It takes you through an experience you didn't expect, doesn't hold back with the design intentions and execution, and takes the gamer through a journey like no other. This is a masterpiece that only Kojima could pull off. Not one of those words were used in our IGN review. I wonder why that is. I wonder, and I even want to go to some of the mixed reviews, because the mixed reviews honestly will be a little lower considering an 85, and the game got an 85 total. Game Informer. The real issue is that Death Stranding's gameplay really is as simple as it appears to be, and the elements around the story, combat, and lackluster mission objectives aren't satisfying enough to anchor the title and get players invested. That's really, really weird that our top tier reviewers are saying these kinds of things, like a Game Informer, like IGN. I wonder why that is. Could it be that they're not getting the clicks that they used to be because people like you and me want real in our reviews? We want to feel like it's fairly represented. I wonder why that is. Another one, US Gamer. Death Stranding might be Kojima's boldest game to date. It may also be his most tedious. Either way, its originality outweighs its sometimes exhausting structure and poor pacing. But only just. Maybe not a game I would recommend to everyone, but certainly one of the most interesting games of 2019. That's just a soft way of saying they really didn't like the game, and I think that's kind of weak that they didn't just come out and say that. Just being like, that's not the game for everyone. You know, if you like it, you like what you like. It's bullshit. And notice they're all on November 1st. The embargo was lifted. Games Radar. Kojima's mysterious world would be epic. Has its moments. Okay, so forgive the bad writing about IGN. This is really terrible. Kojima's mysterious would be epic has its moments, but can't carry the weight of expectation. That might be single-handedly the worst sentence I've ever read in my life. Quite simply. Games Radar, I'm over you. IGN came back over here to Metacritic just to give it a 68, so at least they have some fucking consistency in their trash. And let's go to the negative review just to see what that one negative person had to say. Stevie Orr. Death Stranding is an irredeemable piece of garbage that should serve as a warning to publishers who give developers carte blanche to create art. Wow. Really? So even if you decide to listen to IGN or Games Radar or US Gamer, it's not as bad as Stevie Orr saying that they gave Kojima so much power and so much money, I guess, to make his art that that's a bad thing. Giving the director and the artist too much creativity is a bad thing. This is a company, man. This is if the company's always right. We don't do that here. You can't be in charge. I'm in charge. Fuck this guy too. Okay, let's get back to some of these positive scores, because I believe the game does for the majority of the time stay in that positive range. As you can see, there's a huge difference, 63 to 11. I mean, my hands are tied here. What am I supposed to believe, honestly? Now, Metacritic is not necessarily the best choice, because games can get downvoted this shit, and they changed up their rules a little bit, and I can't wait till the user reviews get in, because I have a feeling these user reviews are going to be in that 9 to 10 range. There will always be your hater, there will always be your clickbait titler. It's just very odd to me that IGN and some of these staples are taking the stance on the game. I think that they want to make sure that they hold a place in the review cycle and the critics, because like I said, the majority of people now are getting their news not from them, even though they are a staple into which a video like this can spur. They're not as credible as they used to be, and the only way for critics to maintain their credibility is to rate a game lower than it is, to make you look at their review and hold their critiques in a higher esteem, because nobody cares about a game that got a 90, right? We care about the game that got 100, a perfect score. We care about that a lot, and it's very hard to give a perfect score out there. But people don't really care about 80s, 85s, 90s. They don't really care about that. What they care about is did the game get a 68 out of 100, or did the game get 100? Right? And for the credibility of these mainstream top tier publishers, for them to maintain their only edge they have over people like me and you, whose opinions people are going to check because people want real, they don't want fake, is to grade these type of games from developers who already have a name, who already know they created something great. The only way to do it is to knock them down by giving them reviews like this. And it's sad, and that's why I'm glad you're here, and that's why I check out other people who bring that real. But we're gonna move on from Metacritic here right after this. IGN Italia. So a different branch of IGN gives it a 98. That's weird. Is it an American thing that they're giving the games a lower grading? Because they had to say Death Stranding is a one-of-a-kind experience that will stick with you for years to come. That's something that I want to hear about. I mean, and that's something I expected, that the game will leave an impression. And even if that impression is not what you expected, I think there was definitely a lot of hype around this game, and I think the hype is deserved, and I think the game does meet the expectations of that hype. But let's move to the last bit of this video, and that's going to be searching YouTube for some of these critic reviews. I'm gonna end it there, and I will see you for a stream of Death Stranding on Friday night, I believe. But let's get to the next part of the video. I give a huge shout out to GameSpot. They gave the game a 9 out of 10, the only con being the bad guy. Again, personal preference there. However, a 9 out of 10 superb is exactly where everybody pictured this game to be. And there's just so much positive here. If you want to really be spoiled, check out this review 100%. You're going to see stuff, you're going to read stuff that is amazing. This is the type of review, not because it's a good score, but the content of the review itself. It's just super awesome to know that GameSpot has been pure to itself and gave the game a 9 out of 10, was fully objective. Kaylee Plague wrote the review. It's just super dope to see this kind of honesty and transparency, and if you want to be spoiled, definitely read this review, and because it's just so detailed, and it has everything you need a review to do. And it was true to itself, and this is exactly where we all thought the game would be. So there's no need to throw a clickbait out there. There's no need to be overly pretentious. There's no need for all of that when you have honesty on your side. Death Stranding argues in both its story and its gameplay that adversity itself is what makes things worth doing and life worth living. Remember what I said about the IGN guy. Remember his gripes about the game. Kaylee Plague here clearly is a real gamer who enjoys that, and that's just so heartwarming to read and see. So huge shout out to her.